Okay, I am very excited to have the gorgeous Karly Raven here with me today. Karly is a client of mine. I'm very proud to say a client of mine in the Package and Prosper Mastermind. And she has been doing awesome things. And so I wanted to chat to her today about where she was at before she joined the mastermind, big learnings that she's had in the process, where she is now, and the amazing program that she has created. So I will just basically not talk and I'll hand over to Karly. So Karly, do you want to introduce yourself to those? Lots of people probably watching this do know you, but for those who don't, do you want to just tell us a little bit about your journey as a naturopath and sort of what you were doing before you came to it with me?
Sure, no worries. I came straight out of the 4-year university degree and opened up my clinic, Kismet Health, in regional Northeast Victoria. And I just started as a home-based practice for about a year. Out the front of our house. We actually just had a rental with a little sign out the front saying naturopath. And then the practice grew really quickly. I put on a team member for like a day on reception, and I just managed it from there on the other days. And then I thought, oh, bugger it. A commercial space came available in Wangaratta, and I loved it. So then we did all of these big fancy renovations, and I opened the Kismet Health Hub, which became a bit of a multimodality clinic. So I still had my naturopathic business there, but then we also had other modalities join, and I also started to manage a yoga bar and Pilates studio. I know, took on all the things as we do.
High achiever much?
Type A. Yeah. I'm trying not to be that person anymore. So yeah, and it's kind of fitting to be sitting here today because I am now actually working with this receptionist out the front, packing up the boxes because I've decided to close the multimodality clinic and let go of Kismet Health Hub. I'm going to continue Kismet Health and the naturopathic side of the business. So we're moving into pretty much a very similar setting called the Wangaratta Allied Health Hub and joining some other modalities, but just really downscaling that side of, I don't think it's downscaling might not be the right word, but
streamlining
just,
maybe, like kind
yes.
of,
Refocusing, I think, my attention on just focusing back in on what I love so much and being a naturopath and supporting my team of naturopaths. So I've got 3 other nats on the team. That's where a little bit of my journey up until this point.
I love that. I love that, because often when we go into business, we think, oh, big is better, and we grow and things get popular and there's all the things we could do. And that's fantastic. But it's amazing that you kind of looked at it and thought, oh, do I want this? Is this it? Or what else could I do? How else could I work? Which is really exciting because, I mean, you became a mum, didn't you? So
yes, I think that was COVID, and being a mama was definitely the catalyst. But I think it made me sit back and look back at, what I was doing, how I was feeling. And then obviously I took a 7-month break from practicing and just gave me that, I think, that space to kind of go, well, a perfect opportunity to step back into practicing and being a naturopath in the way that I really want to, because there's definitely an element of burnout for me. I, had a very busy practice and I was smashing myself with 30 to 40 clients a week, and that classic back to back and just really full on. And I knew I didn't want to do that anymore. And that's when I, reached out to you, and I'd already made the decisions back, I think it was maybe September, October when I first spoke to you last year, that I was going to close the hub and move in a different direction with that. But I wasn't quite sure about, exactly what I wanted to do as for myself as the naturopath.
And you had an idea of a niche already, didn't you? So part of the work that we do in the mastermind, for those who don't know, is getting really clear on a niche. So finding out who your clients are, like the people that you just love to help, that you're good at helping. There's enough of them out there to, make it a worthwhile business, and really getting clear on what their big problems are. And you had an idea of that, didn't you? And you'd written an ebook. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your niche and about that process?
Sure. I have always been really passionate about gut health, and I came out of uni and wrote a manual and an ebook specifically on SIBO for practitioners, because I just found when I dug deep and did all of the research, there was a really big gap in that at university. It just, we didn't get taught it very much, and so I wanted to kind of fill that gap. So put that manual together. And then I think just naturally, we've got a family history of chronic gut issues in my family. We nearly lost my mum due to Crohn's disease. So I think it's always just been a bit of a passion for me. And then I just naturally started attracting those clients through Kismet Health. And it just grew and grew from there. So I knew I wanted to keep going forward with that, and I just love it. Like I think, you know, when you're sitting with a client, you're like, this is my jam.
Yeah, it's like, tell me more about your poo and your bloating and all those pain symptoms you have. Yeah, it's
it just, you know, made me feel happy and lit me up in clinic. So I wanted to come back and just see those clients.
Yeah, great. And so, I mean, you could have just started seeing those clients in your clinic and just said, look, this is our area of focus, and continued on, you know, seeing back-to-back clients, but at least focusing on gut stuff. But what was it that made you want to join the mastermind? Like, I can't remember. Did you come to it already knowing I need a new way to work? Like, I want to create a program? Yeah.
Yes, I didn't know exactly what that would look like, but I was kind of thinking a package or just an easier way to work with clients, because I also knew now being a mum and also managing a team of 3 other naturopaths, I was very limited with the time that I was going to be able to spend with my clients. But I also had experienced that appointment by appointment and knew how much people were missing out on, I think, and I was constantly responding to emails in between clients and not feeling like valued, I think, for the gold that I was giving them in between appointments, undercharging and all of those things that I now know clearly.
I know. Well, I mean, I was the same. Like we didn't know any other way. And I think, you know, it's almost like the model was broken. I mean, it's not. There's a lot of practitioners that love that model, and it does work. I'm not saying that. But for some of us, if you find yourself, you cram as much as you can into that face-to-face appointment. But if clients obviously need help in between sessions, and if you're there emailing and providing that, it's kind of like, well, hang on, I should be being paid for this, and it should be part of a more systematized program. So yeah. And so tell me now, like, so clinic's all packed up, you're moving to the other space, that's all great, you've got your team still there. What does your program look like now? Like, what's an average kind of day in your working life look like now that you've got, what's it called? Now, your Nourished Gut.
Yeah, the Nourished Gut program.
Yeah. So tell me, how is that? Like, how long is it? What's the process that you take your clients through now?
So it's a 6-month gut health program where it's very individualized, and it's attracting clients with, you know, chronic gut issues. And I do gut health calls with them, and that's kind of how I onboard them. And then there's still that one-on-one component that I'm doing with them, but then I do weekly group coaching and lots of touch points. I am kind of speaking to them individually as well, because I've found that it is a touchy, confidential area. I feel like not everyone's really keen to chat about shitting their pants.
Yes, and, even though they're in a room of people that all feel it. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot more. Well, I guess because there's a lot of testing and interpreting test results and tweaking protocols and things like that, isn't there, for your clients?
Yes, and I like most of them are happy. And on the group calls, I've been really pleasantly surprised. Like, people will just start chatting about it, and I let them, you know, lead that conversation. And like, even last week, one of the guys had their results come back, and he's tested positive for insulin resistance and fatty liver, and he just openly talked about that. And I was like, cool, now I can talk about this more and provide the link between metabolic disease and inflammation in the gut. And it empowers everybody else in that group, and it's kind of just like a bit of magic happens, and everyone gets so motivated by other people. And even he was like, oh, and I've been 3 weeks with not drinking Coke Zero. And one of my newbies who just entered the weekly call and I'd onboarded her, she was like, oh, I'm addicted to Coke Zero. How did you do it? And then he coached her.
Oh, goosebumps.
Like,
I know.
you know,
I know.
I'm just sitting there like, oh, cool.
That's it, isn't it? And so often when I talk to practitioners about, I love that you said that, about group programs, like the big thing that comes up is, oh, but it's confidential, and it's like, no, you're not. It's not the only way that you're serving your clients in your program. Of course, there's all the one-on-one support as well. It has to be, I think, for that, but for the work, especially for what you're doing. But as an addition, as an extra kind of add-on, you've got this opportunity for them to have that community, that like-minded support. And yeah, like you say, like you become almost obsolete sometimes, and the magic happens when they start, because that's empowering them, isn't it? Like if they're then teaching somebody else, they're all sorts of great stuff happens. There's neural pathways firing in their brain.
She didn't want to talk to me. She wanted to know how he did it, like direct from the source of success.
Because like, well, because she probably thinks you're like Miss 100% healthy. So it's kind of like, like she's found a kindred spirit and she wanted to hear. So good.
Yeah. So really loving that. And yeah, I think that's kind of I'm trying to think what else is in the program. Obviously, there's all of the online modules, some naturopathic yoga from Amy. All of my ebooks are in the process. When I first started working with you, I launched my ebook and I have an online quiz. So all of my resources, all of my gold recipes and things like that are all in there. It's kind of like my premium product for clients.
Yeah, it's so great, isn't it? And so it's 6 months. What's the investment for clients?
$2,570.
Amazing. And you've had like a run of people signing the last few weeks, haven't you?
Yes, I've onboarded 5 in the last week. Yeah. So exciting.
It's so exciting, So anyone out there that's thinking people won't pay $2,500 for a gut health program with an experienced practitioner, like I reckon Karly could double her prices and she would still be attracting people, because
not quite yet.
No, don't. I know, it's okay. I understand.
Took me a lot to everybody who's listening. It did take me a lot to kind of, and with Hayley's coaching, be okay with that and testing the waters and trial and error with a few things in the process. But I now feel super confident and worthy of that price now that I've had those people and that run of people joining up. It's that's reassuring for sure.
Yeah, and you just start to build that belief that actually this is helping people and they are willing. Yeah, and that's the beauty of having a really clear niche and really honing in your marketing and your key messages and sort of really talking to those people and showing them that you can help. It's so exciting. So your life is looking a little bit different then, isn't it? Are you less burnt out? I mean, look, you're a new mum, so that's an extra layer that wasn't there before, which is always fun. How are you feeling about practice going into the future?
Oh, I think at the moment I'm still in the thick of it because I'm moving, but I think, give me a couple more weeks and I can see the difference it's going to make, and I'm definitely, I did the whole, let's not be a perfectionist. Let's just put it out into the world and create as I go. So I'm still doing my modules. So there's still work, but I know once they're all complete and I'm just focusing on my calls and onboarding those clients and supporting my naturopathic team. And even like, I'm just thinking now I'm only doing 9 till 2 of actually like seeing my clients. And then I fit a few in outside of that when I can, if I've had a busy week of onboarding people, I've got a bit of extra space, but it's a day and a half plus a bit of admin for the business. And then I'm a mum. So I used to practice 4 full days a week. Like,
and your clients are going to feel very cared for, if not more so, because you've packaged up so much more into what they're getting, and the results are going to be just as good, if not better. So it's not like you need to compromise your level of clinical care and the support that you give your clients just because you've packaged it up and you're delivering it slightly differently.
No, I think it's a higher level of care. That's what I feel like. It's really complete, and each person who joins they get more of me. They get more support and accountability, and I think that's what I love, because I'm showing up for them and giving them the best version of me as well.
So good. So if you have a think back now and have a little bit of a reflect on the last, 4 months, 5 months? How long have you been in the mastermind? 5 months? 4 months? Who knows?
I reckon October, November I joined.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So look, not even that long. Like, and we haven't even, I was thinking of this before I jumped on today's call. We haven't even started like Facebook ads or webinars or anything like that. This has all been all free lead generation, just you posting on social media. And I mean, yes, your existing list and business, but yeah, it's all just been organic growth, which is really exciting too.
Yep.
So a lot more growth coming. So if you had to think, what was the biggest learning? Like, what kind of comes to mind when you think, or the obstacle or the block or something you kind of had to work through in the last few months that you now kind of think, oh, wow, I'm so glad that I worked that out?
I think it would be the money side of it for sure, I think. And it's interesting because I've always charged the most in my town. Like I've always been a little bit higher than them anyway, but them going from that one-on-one price to then packaging it all up and having that, higher price, and then seeing people sign up and the breakthroughs personally with that. But even just all of the marketing side of it, I think has been, and there's so much more that I need to do in that area. But I think just following the step-by-step process that you've kind of laid out for us, I'm seeing those results, having that clear message, speaking directly to my ideal client. I now get people through Instagram who just go, that post that you just wrote is me. I need to speak to you. It's just that cutting straight through and being super clear. And then now often on the calls, people, because they know so much that they're so warm and they're already invested in me through social media, and that I think the messaging and the marketing that I'm doing, some of them don't even ask about the price now. So it's all those little things that I've set up through the process of learning about how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, you're great. You were great with all of that sort of stuff before you joined the mastermind. I think now you've just, honed it in, dialed it in that little bit more, a little bit clearer. And really just, your socials are fantastic. And I'm not surprised at all that your DMs are blowing up, as they say in social media land. But that's attraction marketing, isn't it? So then when you get on those discovery calls that so many practitioners have the wrong idea about, and they think they're slimy and salesy and pushy, and like that is not at all. There's no way that you would do that, even if it's what I was teaching you to do. But it just that next sort of step in the process, they're already pretty sure that they want to work with you, and it's just a matter of having a bit of a chat and then telling them how to get started, which is great.
Yeah, I'm so not that classic marketer. Like I was even just chatting to one of my VAs today about human design, and I'm a projector, and I've got to wait for the invite, and I want to wait for people to really want to work with me, and showing up in that space of like, pushing people into it is definitely not who I am. But that's a whole nother conversation. But
and look, you don't have to be like, and I don't think like we're health professionals, like we can't come across that way, like salesy car salesman or anything like that. Like we need to be we have integrity and compassion and kindness and care, and that sells too. Like it actually sells better. Like it's okay.
It's just a chat, get to know each other type thing.
Well, it's a coaching experience, isn't it? You're there to help them see that they need to do something about their gut health. Like, it's okay as a health professional, I think, to say, this is not good. You need to fix this problem. That is my professional recommendation. Here's how I can help you do that. Would you like to?
Your choice. I'm here if you want it. Yep. Yeah. And really it's really interesting because you can tell if people are ready. And I'll just super honest with people now and say, I'm just not quite sure, you're really quite ready. but this is what I think you should do, you know. So even some of the people on my calls, I haven't offered them the program either, you know, like there has been a couple. So you still got that clinical naturopath hat on and trying to do the best for that person at the same time.
That's right. It was so good to chat with you, Karly. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else you wanted to add? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I think that's all. Just if you're thinking about it, have a chat with Hayley, because it's there's so much that you can learn. Yes, don't bag the discovery call.
No, I know there's such a great way of doing them. I think it's something I love teaching practice. Thank you so much. Good luck with the last bit of your move. I hope that it's always those last few boxes, isn't it, as you finally walk out.
Yeah, we're so close. Yeah, exciting times though. Yeah,
and I cannot wait to see photos of the new space. And thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for all your help.
My pleasure.
Bye.